My hair has come to life in such a way that a desert island tribe is beginning to worship it. I have a kitten, and I'm here to talk to you about the film Concussion with Will Smith. Now, if you saw my review of Spotlight, you know I'm kind of into these films. These dramamentaries are wonderful. I love the fact that we're talking about something important. Concussion. Maybe I've had one. This film, not as good as Spotlight. It's a pretty good film. I would rank it kind of a B as opposed to an A. There goes my kitty. But I will say this much. Concussion was a much slower film. It didn't keep me engaged as much because there was a very strong religious element. And this is a film about science and medicine. It is a film about evil corporations denying something. And, you know, it's one of those things, like, I understand that the doctor that discovered this condition was a religious man. He comes from a culture where religion is rather important. I respect that, and I liked the delving into his life. However, I felt that the love story was a little too large. And it's like, okay, you're doing the love story. Can we get back to the meat of this, which is the story about the concussion? It is not so much a story of this man, but a story about the condition, about the players who died, and about the league trying to suppress that. I understand that it hurt his family, and to be completely honest with you, I could very much connect to that. I just kind of felt there was a little too much of that. And we could have dealt with maybe 5 minutes less of that in the film, and maybe a little bit more about the victims, which is one of those things I was missing. I would have liked to have gotten into the science to the point and understood what does a healthy brain look like at 50, as opposed to what this man's brain looked like. That was missing. The complete and total medical side of things is what was missing. And I mean, we all know that the National Football League, you know, they hid this, and they didn't care much for their players. And I have very little sympathy for a man that made millions and millions of dollars. You know, it's like, well, you could have left football earlier. I guess you didn't know. So I'm sorry that this has happened to you, but you still... And she's making noise. You still made more than I'm ever going to make in a lifetime. So, yeah, you did this by destroying your body. It's kind of what happens. I mean, you know that if you get out of being a football player, you're going to come away from it injured. You're going to come away from it hurt. You're going to come away from it having to be more aware of your body. And these chronic concussions, the question becomes, I mean, what did they ever really do about it? Did they allocate money for medical treatment? Is there some kind of a brain scan? Because, you know, you can't have football without the hits. So that's kind of the thing there. What I was missing from this particular documentary was understanding the science, understanding the condition. I didn't see enough of that. I wanted more of the science, and I did want to see, so what is it that they eventually did about it? Because this happened years ago. I mean, I believe the primary discovery happened in the 80s. So that's what I wanted to know. That's what I wanted to take away from this film, and I didn't see that. So yeah, this is a kind of film I like. I feel it's an important film, but I don't feel this is a film you need to see in the theaters. I think that when this comes out on Blu-ray or when it comes out on Netflix, you should definitely see it. I will say Will Smith's performance is spot on. He looks the part. He lives the part. His accent was very strong for me. But Concussion, it tried to be intimate with very extreme close-ups, and it was telling an intimate story, and I don't think it was so intimate a story. It was an important story to the characters within it, but this is a story important not only to these characters, but to this world, and I wanted to feel that. It tried to make it too much of one man's struggle, as opposed to the struggle of the group of people trying to do this, and that's where I think it failed. I mean, Will Smith, I understand he's a big star. He is a very, very talented man. But I wanted to see a little less of him in this movie, a little more of the science, and maybe a little more of the other characters. Alec Baldwin, by the way, I think that's Alec Baldwin. I could never tell the Baldwins apart because I never cared, but plays an excellent doctor. I mean, there's not much to the character, but you feel it. And the whole time you're just, he on both sides of this equation is this man, and yet you feel it, and you understand he does so much with so little. I will say that much. On the whole, I think this is a movie you should mark on your I will see this when I have an opportunity thing. But it is not a life changer. It is not a film that is going to make you stop and wonder. And if you're a football fan, I mean, you're probably going to be a little more in tune with this. But I mean, you know, evil is evil, good is good, and then there's God in love.